Hey guys, Automatic Garage back today. You can see what we got behind us. It is not my favorite. It's my favorite when they run right, but as far as working on it, it ain't my favorite. But anyways, it's a 6.4. Complaint was down on power. He sent me a video of it. Actually, I'll show y'all the video right here. But he sent the video of that. It got here, tow truck unloaded it. I said, does it run? The tow truck driver, he said, yeah, it'll crank up and run. So I cranked it up and I hauled ass up the driveway with it, ran just fine. And so I hooked the computer up. It had a code for, I think cylinder 7 was up there when I pulled the codes initially. Anyways, I cleared the code so we could start fresh and see what it threw. I drove it around the block. I made it 2 miles. All of a sudden it felt like it almost went into limp mode, which it did not say that, but felt like it went into limp mode and was doing the choo-choo train noise, choo-choo-choo-choo-choo, trying to run. So got it back here. You could let it cool off. So what we have is Injector 7. It's not a contribution code, it's Injector 7 circuit, I think is what it is. I'll put a picture of the code right here also. So we're gonna approach this as we're going to replace Injector 7 and we're going to replace the valve cover harness over here on the passenger side. And we're just going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. The injector harness ain't but about $100. So if it is the injector, it would only make sense to replace the harness with it. And anyways, we're going to get this tore down and get that replaced. I just don't want to have to do it twice. So we're going to go on and kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. All right, I am not the king dingling of 6.4s, never claimed to be. I really don't turn wrenches on the motor that much on these. I do a whole lot of brake work and stuff like that on suspension, ball joints, all that kind of stuff. But anyways, we're gonna get this air intake and everything off so we can get down to our valve cover, because that's the main thing. Most of the work of doing this is just getting access to the valve cover and getting the valve cover off. And then after that, it's pretty easy. So let me get busy here. I will do some updates with y'all along as we're going through this, and we'll get this injector and harness replaced. All right, so we got our crankcase, vent, and oil fill off of the valve cover here. We took our air box off. This was not a factory air box, so it'd be kind of the same process. Get that out of the way. Undo one of your main plugs right here. Undo this plug, and then you can flop your harness over here. We're gonna have to take that coolant hose right there out of the way. And then we're gonna unplug our glow plug relay. We're gonna come up here and then we'll be able to take this whole portion of the wiring harness on the front of the valve cover here and get that out of the way. So I'm gonna get all that going. All right, so we're gonna go on to our glow plug harness out of the way. Your plug is right here, goes to that plug. And these are similar to the 6.0, but you gotta pull on that bigger rubber part there. And once you get that pried loose, you can grab and get it out just like that. So we're gonna get that all the way out of our way, and then we're gonna proceed on with this coolant hose and that wiring. All right, it's way easier to have the inner fender well removed so you can get down here and get to the other glow plug on the back, or even the back too, actually. It makes it a little bit easier. Not to mention you're gonna have to do this anyways to get some of these valve cover bolts. All right, this is honestly the worst part of the job, is getting this flopped up here. And it's all just because of stupid stuff like these right here that hold the heat shield or heat covering wrap, whatever, up there on top of the glow plug controller. So like we said, undo the main plug, undo this other plug that was over here. You're gonna undo your exhaust gas temp. It's right here. You gotta unplug that, and that's on a Christmas tree on the glow plug controller bracket. Also, you're gonna undo this plug, which is also on a Christmas tree back there on the glow plug controller bracket. And then that's pretty much it. The rest of it is just straightforward flopping it up. Your actual injector harness, it is right here. So you have a retainer on both sides of it. There's one on the back side that you can't see, so just make sure you press both when you release it so you don't break it. And we are replacing that harness under the valve cover while we're doing this, because they're known to have shorts and stuff. So Now we're to the point we can pull all our valve cover bolts out. So I'm gonna get started doing that. Valve cover bolts are a 12 millimeter. I'm gonna get those pulled and then we'll get that valve cover out of here. One thing to keep in mind when you undo this coolant line, if you pulled your glow plug harness first, go on and plug that hole that's right underneath it so it doesn't run down and go into the head there. All right, injector 7 in the back, 17 millimeter. We've already broke our feed line loose right here. I'm gonna finish unscrewing that. And then I do believe it is a T40 holding the injector in. I will tell y'all here in just a second. It's been a while since I pulled an injector in a 6.4. But you back that out, it's just like doing one in a 6.0 basically. And then there's really a special tool for disconnecting these right here. But honestly, if you just pull, it's gonna come out. There's really no tab for it, but they make a special tool for that. It costs like $300 for it, but I've never had to use it. So anyways, I'll show y'all unplugging one because we're replacing this whole harness anyways too. And we'll go from there. All right, injector's out. Washer on the bottom came out with it. Got our feed line out there on it. We got our harness right here. So basically you have to squeeze both of these in right here to get it to come out of the rocker box. These just pull out, as I mentioned, there's not really a release tab, just pull straight out on them. We knew we were replacing it, so I wasn't bent out of shape by messing it up. And then this is your fuel pressure sender, and you pry out on this to release it, and it comes right off. So now we're gonna go and get our new injector ready to go in. We're gonna brush that cup out and install the new one in and torque it, and I gotta look the torque up for this. All right, injector's in, new harness is in. So you put your injector in, you pre-tighten the hole down to 18 inch-pounds, you put your feed line in, you pre-tighten on the injector first, then you pre-tighten on the fuel rail. Then you go back and torque your injector hole down to 28 foot-pounds. Then you tighten your feed tube on both ends to 106 inch-pounds. That's about all I got to say about that. Plug your injectors in, make sure you got them pushed all the way in. You have a little hole down right here that goes over your number 2, or sorry, this is the number 3 injector, and it just clips right over the rail. Push your plug back through here. Make sure you have your clip somewhat oriented so that it locks right there. You're not trying to twist it around. What I did was I took a pair of needle nose, I carefully pulled on the top part of the plug while pushing with my fingers at the bottom also. So now we're gonna put the valve cover back on. I'll look the torque up for that. Make sure you don't have any debris down in here. And one other thing I didn't mention is blow out your injector hole down bolt hole so you get a good torque on it. All right, valve cover's in, 114 inch-pounds on the torque on that. The very back one on the bottom, you're probably just gonna have to use a wrench on and get the feel for that, because I could not get my inch-pound wrench in there. Glow plug harness, when you put it in, have all your glow plug harness plugs facing down, mainly for this one right here by the dryer, so you can get it in the hole because it's a tight fit getting in between here to have a straight shot. So now we're gonna flop all of this back over, lay it on here and start plugging and playing and bolting everything back on, and then we'll pretty much be together other than the air intake and stuff like that. And we'll reset the fuel tables and then crank this thing up. All right, we got our auto ingenuity hooked up. We're under service functions and we have to clear the adaptive fuel tables right here. We're gonna hit done. Clear the adaptive tables will clear the learned values that have been stored for the adaptive systems. It says completed successfully. So the only thing else we should do, we got to crack the fuel system and bleed the air out of it since we opened it up, and then we should be good to crank this up. All right, Bubba's being a tire jockey over here. I bled the fuel system, which the way I do this, I just crack this return line right here. Turn the key on, and as soon as when you think the key's about to turn off and the fuel's pump's about to quit running, start tightening it back up. I just put a rag around it and it catches all the diesel fuel. I just did it this one time. That's probably all it needs since we only did the one injector. We'll find out here. Fuel tables are cleared. All the codes are cleared out of it. So we're gonna try to crank her up now. right, guys, hope you enjoyed the video on throwing an injector and this injector harness in on this 6.4 here. If you're in there and you're replacing an injector, it's just a good practice to me to go on and replace that harness and knock it out. They're known for having some shorts anyways. Just do that while you're in there. Not too bad of a job. Worst part is getting to the valve cover. Once you get down there, it's not a bad job at all. It's almost easier than doing a 6.0, I think. But anyways, we appreciate y'all watching. Go check out all of our other videos on the channel here. Check us out at Facebook, Instagram, and Rumble, automedicgarage.com. If you enjoy watching this channel, it's helped you out, save some money working on your own truck, or you just want to support content like this, consider visiting our Patreon and becoming a member of that. We do a monthly giveaway, and there's some exclusive content that we also throw on there. Try to do something daily on it. But anyways, it's Auto Medic Garage signing out. We'll holler at y'all later.